So once again, thank you everyone for joining us this very wonderful Thursday evening. We hope that you are ready for a session full of fruitful sharing from our GCC team, as well as a very exciting panel discussion that we've lined up for you this evening. So without further ado, may I invite Bing Wan to start the session. Thank you.
Okay, because this event is recorded, I'm told to stand in an X, right? So I try not to move. For those of you who know me, I'm a bit hyper. Sometimes I just walk around, right? So thanks, welcome. This is our regular Stack community event, right? And this is like, typically we run it every quarterly or thereabout, and monthly, yeah. So welcome. So the theme for today's community chat and discussion, it is actually about cloud modernization, cost optimization. So the general theme of today's discussion and sharing centers around, Singapore government, we have started the cloud journey since around end 2018, thereabout. So as of last year, we were 5 years into the cloud adoption journey. So by now, about 80% of eligible system has moved to commercial cloud. Generally, they are on government on commercial cloud, right, GCC. So the question that we often ask ourselves is that, hey, we have a KPI that was announced by PM Lee back in 2018. Right? We say that we want to actually migrate up to 70% of system to GCC, to commercial cloud. We have achieved that, right? So pat the back to everyone because, oh, by the way, today's session mostly are colleagues from the whole of government. So this is like a closed door. We are all public officer and it's just a pat of the back for everyone, right? Who successfully migrate whatever system that we are slated to migrate up to 70% to cloud. So the next question that we ask ourselves for the past couple of months is that now that we have migrated to cloud, right? Whether your system is re-platform or re-host, or some of you guys that are a bit more on the adventurous side, or maybe you have enough budget, you refactor your system, right? Use cloud native in a bigger way, for example, rather than running, your EC2s on AWS or all the VMs, mimicking your on-prem kind of environment. So after you've done the migration, what's next? So from GovTech perspective, we have started actually a program for the next couple of years. One of our aspiration is really to help agencies and even ourselves at a platform level to continue modernize our system, all right? And one of the key objective, why do we want to modernize? We are hoping that we can run faster, we can run better, and most importantly, in today's theme of discussion, we try to run cheaper, bring down the cost, use more automation, basically modernize how we operate, not just how we design, but how we modernize our operations on cloud, okay? So I try not to steal too much thunder from my fellow colleagues who is going to share some of the initiative that we have. The initiative that they are going to share probably is closer to an aspiration. It is through some of the feedback. We recently run quite a few user interviews with agencies and with the partners as well. And we get some insight about what are the potential things that as a central platform, GCC, we can build, we can design, and we can offer to the whole of government. So I think without further ado, I would love to invite two of GCC product managers to start sharing what are the latest initiatives that we are doing on the cost optimization and the modernization front.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Bing Wan. So I'll be starting off first, right? Okay, I myself don't recognize my photo here. Okay, so my colleague probably accidentally put too much of the filtering on the photo. Okay, by the way, I'm Xiang. So thanks, Bing Wan, for doing the opening. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm one of the product manager for GCC. Yeah, and looking mainly on billing and cost optimization features. So, well, I'm prepared to start off with some recap of the cloud adoption journey, but I guess my boss has actually helped me cover most of the stuff. So I will just run through this slide very quickly, right? So we started off cloud first strategy back in 2018, and now that, as what Bing Wan has mentioned, right? This year, we have actually already achieved more than 79% of the cloud eligible systems onto the cloud. So what's next, right? That's the questions over here. So as what Bing Wan mentioned, we started to think a lot more on the modernization piece. So some of the key areas that we are looking into includes modernizations through cloud-native services and architecture, and then we wanted to adopt more modern operations practices. So some of the piece of works that we are we are starting on, for example, we are looking in having a central patch service. So this is a cloud-native solution whereby we leverage on automation and best practices to enable agencies patching on the agency's workload OS. So this is just one of the examples that we are working on. Then walking down the pointers over here, right? Unlocking cloud native through generative AI for innovations. For example, maybe ideas like AI chatbots for GCC. So walking down, modernizations of cloud procurement. This is one of the topic that my colleague Emily will be covered for today. So this one, mainly the objective is to simplify procurement. So the objective is basically to reduce human toil that we spend a lot on the procurement processes, right? And then the last piece will be cloud cost optimization, which will be the topic that I'm covering today. Okay, okay, so let's start off with why cloud optimizations is important. So firstly, budget control and predictability. I think everyone will agree with this one. Budget control is very important as we need to raise AOR a lot of times, right? I mean, every time when we have budget for a project. So we don't want to get bill shock. So with a good cost control mechanism, we will be able to know and predict for our budget, the next budget. Right, and then the second point over here, let me see my laser. Okay, so the second point over here is to ensure the resource efficiency. So be it in cloud or any services that you consume, you want to pay for only what you really used it, right? So with effective cost optimization, right, it actually enables you to achieve this objective by doing right sizing and avoid overspending on over provisioning. And the third point over here, why we think that is important, it's for the operational transparency. So with the cost optimization, with the cloud cost optimization to be effective, it actually improves the visibility into where the cloud budget is actually spent into. So this will probably enables the data-driven decision making, and it will also foster the finance responsibility. So in cloud practice, right, there's this FinOps practice. So cloud cost is actually the everyone's responsibility, be it you are from engineering team, business, or business, finance, or engineering team. Yeah. Okay, so all in all, why cloud cost optimization is important with the efficient utilizations of your resource and your cost under control. So then your team will be able to focus more on innovations work and also to deliver the real value of the business. Yep. Okay, so next, right, let's dive into GCC cost optimization dashboard itself, right? So we are from the GCC platform team. So what we envision to do is really to help the whole of government agencies to be able to reap the maximized value from cloud. So how? We are thinking that for cost perspective, we envision to provide a right tool for you guys to drive the proactive cost management as well as the cost optimizations culture. So on top of just having a dashboard that pulls in all the cost data, right? The important point that we envision over here that we think can value add is perhaps on the part whereby we can contextualize the data back to GCC context. So for example, we pull cloud cost data from cloud native, and then we are able to contextualize back to your GCC tenant, system, or applications, right? So that's one point. On top of that, we are also doing benchmarking capabilities. So with the metadata that we have on GCC, right, what we are envisioning is to have benchmarking matrices to help you guys and to see how you stand against your other peers, other agencies of a similar workloads, as well as compare it with the whole of government average data, average cost data, right? Okay, and one more part is that for the cost optimization dashboard that we envision is that it will be a one-place portal for you guys to track your cost savings and your realized savings. Not only what you have done and achieved from the cloud optimizations, any cost savings that we achieve via GCC services, for example, later my colleague will be covering on the GCC marketplace, there will be costs that are being avoided. So all these cost savings is going to pipe into this single dashboard for the agencies, right? Well, talk too much on that. So let me just go into this cycle, this phase over here. So what I'm planning to share is that using this FinOps framework, I'm trying to share that how GCC cost optimization dashboard is going to help agencies to navigate through this FinOps 3 phases. So in FinOps phases, right, there's actually these 3: inform, optimize, and operate phases. So without data, we don't know what to start on. So definitely inform as a first step, right? So as I shared just now, we are envisioning to provide you guys the comprehensive cost visibility into aggregated account level, insights to cost anomalies, benchmarking capabilities, as well as the tracking ability of the realized savings, all right? And then in the phase of optimize, so in the dashboard, we provide you guys with the potential cost savings for you guys to identify which is the key area that you can act upon, right? And then it includes the cloud rate optimization, which means that optimizations by buying new commitments, for example, reserve instance and saving plans. And then for the part on cloud resource optimizations is that we will call out some of the actions that you can actually take on or act upon. For example, the big one like right sizings, and then shut down unused resources, and also tap on modernized instances, for example. Okay, so next phase, which is the last phase, with this culture and awareness in place, right, we hope to foster this proactive cost management and optimization culture so that whole of government is able to achieve the cloud cost effectiveness eventually. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this slide, it's just a quick slide to summarize some of the key features that we envision to be in this dashboard. So as I mentioned, we want it to be a single pane of glass for cost visibility, including aggregated data on the account level and also cross service providers. Okay, and then the second pointer over here, we also will call out what are the top cost drivers. So this one is at one glance, very clearly you can see which services or which account is spending the most so that you can deep dive afterwards. Then the third one, actionable cost optimization recommendations. So this one I covered already. So it's like we will provide the potential savings as well as the recommendations for agencies to act upon, right? Then for the fourth point, realized savings. So yeah, it's also covered already. So realized savings tracking, helping you guys to know that, okay, compared to last month, or rather accumulative until now, how much you have saved. So you will be able to see your progress in the cost optimization journey. Okay, and for the last part, I think it's a very important, I hope it will be a useful features for all of you guys. So without comparing to others, we don't know where we stand, right? So the fifth capabilities here, imagine like the PUB bill. We wanted to have some matrices for you guys to compare yourself against your neighbors. So in our context is against the other agencies to know where our relative cost position is. Okay, so right, so after here, right, the next few slides will be some mock-up, not really mock-up, it's already in pilot version. So this is how it looks like in the cost optimization dashboard. Okay, then so in this summary view, right, we on the top part is basically showing all your current usages, including how much you have spent and also the forecasting, okay, for the next few months. And then we will also call out, as I mentioned just now, so this is the top driver identification part. So we do have a chart to call out what are the top 5 spenders. So in this chart, for example, big chunk of your services are spent on compute, almost 55%, for example. This is just an example, okay? And then we do have some charts to help you analyze. Okay, so this is a chart whereby the current example is top 5 services, but we do have a filters for you to actually change it. So you can change it into top 5 services or rather top 5 accounts, for example. So it's flexible for you. And we also have an analysis to call out the top contributors. So the intention of having this, right, is for you to clearly know which are the services or accounts that have changed significantly. So like you see here, EC2 increased by 30%, so it will show up in the top. Then the team will then be able to contextualize to your usage, is it a valid increase or is it not, okay? Okay, so next on to the actionable cost optimization recommendation. As you see in the bottom section here, we have a savings and optimization area. So here we are actually helping you to track on the possible cost optimization area that you can work on. So like what you see here, we have 3 main categories. So we do have new commitments part. So as this example here says that, okay, actually huge chunk of the opportunity, you can actually tap on new commitments, meaning you can purchase new saving plans or reserve instance. This seems to be like, from this analysis here, seems to be like a low hanging fruit. So you should be able to start deciding from here on whether you want to purchase RI or SP. Right? And then next we have, we classify the different recommendations or optimization actions into hygiene and efficiency. Hygiene includes removing unused resources. And then efficiency includes like right sizing, scaling, or rescheduling. Okay? Right, this is just a further elaborations of what I meant on the recommendations. We do have some call out here analysis to tell you how is your RISP utilization rate is, whether it's optimal or not based on some of the benchmarking that we have. And then we also call out whether your coverage is good. So when you see that your utilization rate is good, it doesn't mean that you are fully optimizing. Means that, okay, sorry, I shouldn't say that. So even if your utilization is high, right, actually there are still area for you to cover. For example, because when you see the coverage here is 11%, actually is quite low, means that you have some other services that you can still tap on RI or SP. Yeah, so we do call this kind of analysis for you to do quick action and analysis based on our data over here. So next section here, we will also call out what are the compute resources that has right sizing opportunities, and then we will link you with details in the table over here with the finding and estimated savings. All right. Okay, so lastly, on the realized saving tracking and the summary page, you'll be seeing a figure over here. It is a accumulative figures, depends on what's the filter durations that you select. Okay, so in this example, it's from June to July, and you have actually saved this amount. And if you want to see the breakdown of how much you have saved, we have a chart of the tracking. So the different color actually means a different area that you have already saved lah. Okay. Okay, so comes to the last slide here. It's about, okay, then when this feature is going to be released, right? So in terms of the roadmap over here, what I share here, I just wanted to have a disclaimer, is what we plan for. If there's any changes, yeah, it might have changes. So up till now, we have really way past the MVP stage. We are now in the pilot phase. Okay, so we have launched to some limited users of to collect more feedback for the first phase, starting from August. And then we will continue to develop the benchmarking features that I mentioned just now, and also the incorporations of the cost savings that we achieve from Marketplace. So that one all are still in development, and we plan to release it in November. And eventually, when we talk about GA, so one caveat is that now we are working on AWS data. So for AWS, we are planning for GA in February next year, and then we will continue working on the Azure data as well as the GCP integration next in March. Okay, so that's it for cost optimization part. So I will hand over to my colleague Emily to cover the marketplace.
Okay, thank you, Xiang. Hi, I'm Emily. I'm already trying my best to match the photo, but too bad that's 3 years ago. Thanks to my colleague. Okay, I'm also one of the product manager in GCC, and today I'm going to talk about the GCC marketplace. Okay, when you see the name, right, marketplace, maybe the first thing come to your mind is with the GCC as a context, maybe it's something very similar with AWS marketplace, Azure marketplace, and the GCP marketplace, all those public service provider marketplace. If you are talking about that, yes, it is. Mostly you are right. It is providing a digital catalog that include thousands of offerings across from different various of the vendors or service providers. And then it is really a marketplace. And then it's really also includes the digital transactions. So today, what is the difference between all those CSP marketplace and the GCC marketplace? And then what is so special about the GCC marketplace? How can we provide more values to our users and the whole of government users apart from the CSP marketplace? Let me elaborate further. Okay, so you are looking at is okay, all in one marketplace that actually provide a few services. First one, end-to-end digital process in one platform. We are trying to include end-to-end from the day that you start to search until the day you start to track, and then even maybe later on renew your contract on GCC Marketplace. And then it did include a variety of cloud offerings ranging from, which is very our government context, the bulk tender offerings, and then some CSP's public offerings, which is available for everyone, and then some CSP private offerings that the individual agency actually negotiate the private offerings, but the data actually, all the pricing in the past, right? The other agencies, they do not see those kind of data. So when they negotiate with the vendors, they have difficulties sometimes. And then we also talk about the CSP discounted compute and database resources, and then some even GovTech or even others developed services. And then lastly, we are government context, so we are very caring about the audit. So we are going to provide the audit ready trails for across the whole procurement process. So this is what our envision to do. We are trying our best to provide all these services. And then today, I'm going to talk about the first two only. What is the cloud offerings through all these bulk tender and the private offerings, and then what do I mean by CSP discounted compute and the database resources? Okay, the first track, GCC Marketplace resource pool purchase. Firstly, let me answer the question why we are taking this path. This is very much unlike other GCC products, right? And then one of the main reasons is, right, as a master player account, as a central account, right, we are able to see all those data across whole of government. And then we actually has a very, very, very low coverage for those RISP commitment across the whole of the government. Take AWS as example. Here, the AWS compute resources and data resources respectively, the average commitment rate across whole of our government monthly is only about 14% and 6%. What does this data mean? If we just take a very conservative number, we say we only want to commit 50% of whole of government resources for one of the RSP plan on the compute resources and database resources, right? We are easily saving 10 million Singapore dollars across whole of our government. That is a very conservative number. Just take AWS as an example. And then 50% of the commitment rate only. So that's actually naturally bring us to next questions. And then during our user research, user interviews, and our own researches, right, we are trying to find out why individual agencies, right, cannot commit as of today, because all the data is past 1 year, 1 year and a half, and then some of the agencies, your workloads, right, already on the BAU stage. And then what is the difficulties there to stop you from committing all those resources? And then we have learned that there were multiple reasons actually, and then actually really individual agency have their own difficulties to commit those resources. For example, some seeing seasonal fluctuations, and then they are afraid of overcommitment. Very good example I always like to use is the errors. During our taxpayer fact taxing area, right? Those around April area, those half a year, right? You will definitely see a peak for the usage, and then the next half a year, right? You will see the normal usage of all those resources. So what are the resources? What kind of data you want to use to commit for long-term resources for 1 and 3 years is a difficult decision. And then some of the decision-making inside the agencies may involve different parties. For example, the infra teams. Sometimes the decision makers actually rely on the application teams that they have different priorities at that moment. And then the last one is definitely the POC projects. You don't know when your POC project will be terminated, and then whether it will go through, and then whether it will be killed, or whether it will continue. So all those POC projects, once they never reach to the BU stage, right, you will never think about committing these kind of long-term plans. So that's why, at least to us, try to resolve this problem, maybe tap on these opportunities to see first, how we can help the agencies to maximize their cloud savings by coming to GCC Marketplace to purchase higher discounts. Why maybe we can achieve higher discounts? Because as a whole, right, we may have more confidence to even commit the 3 years plans for the certain resources, so that we have a higher commitment, higher discount compared to 1 year commitment. And then the other one, we're also trying to provide a peace of mind for agencies. That means some flexibility. For example, with the CSP, you need to commit 1 year or 3 years. That's a very fixed timing, right? But come to GCC Marketplace, we are really providing as short as 1 month commitment. And then another flexibility is that we are allowing you to cancel anytime. So if your POC project, firstly, you're thinking about maybe I will take 3 months for those resources. And after 2 months, you feel like maybe we should just stop this POC. And then you can cancel at the moment, at that time, after the 2 months. You no longer need to pay for the 3rd month. And then where does those resources go? It will go back to the resource pool for other agencies to come and purchase. Okay, so some features, just take note here, some features are still envisioned, and then we are still actually trying to understand from our users whether they are needed. And then the first one, as I mentioned, curation of most commonly used resources. For example, what are the EC2 families that whole of our government actually most of the agencies they choose are more popular. We will definitely go for that, because as GCC, we also don't want to over-commitment for those resources. And then all available offerings displayed with one search. So it's just a simple catalog page. Later I will show you. It's easier for you to navigate. More discounted resources, like I mentioned, maybe we commit 3 years plan, that you will enjoy more discounts. The next one, seamless integration with existing user CSP accounts. So on the GCC Marketplace, right, we will allow you to choose which CSP accounts actually you are interested. But you don't need to really go inside and then log in into the individual CSP account itself to do the purchase. Once you select for the GCC Marketplace, you will see all those reflect in your monthly billings. The next one, flexible period, as I mentioned just now, and then cancel anytime, integrate CSP billing report with Marketplace purchase. So we will, on the CMP, monthly you will receive the billing reports, right? We will also include this information directly in the monthly CMP reports. And the last one is seamless resource provisioning. Is more or less the same as the number 4, seamless integration. So you don't need to go back to CSP to check, and then to go inside and provision there. Everything will be done through the GCC Marketplace. Okay, regarding the timeline, this one is not as fast as cost optimization. It actually just started. That's why you see the timing is still. The MVP itself, right, we are thinking about the end of October. If you do not still continue encountering more feasibility problems that we are trying to explore right now actively. So we are trying to complete the MVP by end of October. And after that, we roll out to certain selected agencies, especially those who, today, if you come here, right, you are intend to purchase and then intend to try out about this one, you can always let me know. And then we are very willing to enroll you to our pilot production to try out the prototype. And then after that, expected next year, we are going to GA in March for the AWS resource pool, which is the compute resource pool first. And then along the way, right, we're also actively discussing with Azure and the GCP to include their resources, but it will be released in one by one, because we really need to make careful decision on those resources commitment. And then this is not exist, does not exist yet. This is drawn is a high fidelity prototype. So this is the home page, and then if you can see, sorry, it's so small. The GC Marketplace, the first tab is the Marketplace offering. The second one is the resource pool. So if you click the resource pool, right, you will see some simple catalog page, something like this. You'll be able to choose what are the filter, and then search, and then even sort what are the, and then you will see some family, which CSP is it, and then you can able to choose the duration, start time, and then what kind of payment method you want to use. And then you can add multiple into the cart or just directly purchase from there. This is about the resourceful purchase. Okay, the next track is the procurement modernization, which my colleague Xiang mentioned quite a number of times just now. Again, first start with why we are doing this. The first one is long procurement lead time. So from our users research, again, we talked to multiple people. And then one of the things we learned that some people actually, yes, they can take the whole procurement process quite smooth. And then within a few clicks and a few negotiation and a few emails, they will be able to settle it. But a lot of cases that we talk, right, they are taking about 1 to 6 months. Depends on what are the cases, what are the software, and then who are the vendors, and then what are the process you are taking about embark on. And this really hinder the time to market. Just imagine your project team, they suddenly decide this is the SaaS software I'm going to use, and then 6 months later, you can only finish the purchasing. This is not something we really want our team members to focus on. We want the team members to focus on comparison the pricing, or we want them to focus on comparing the product itself, whether this product makes sense for the project to be used. I believe most of the people, they want the team members to focus on the second one. So we are trying to we're really trying to reduce this long procurement lead time. The next one, manual way of procurement process. This one, I think it maybe doesn't fit for all the agency use cases, but some of the agency when we talk to, right, they're still doing the manual AOR tracking through emails. And then they are also manual checking the contract expiring date. And then some of the members leave the team, right? And then sometimes the contract may really lapse, and then you may face penalty of it. And then actually this is a very common problem across the whole industry, not only government only. Outside the commercial, we're also seeing the same thing. So this is one of the problems we are trying to solve. The other one is multiple platform and system. Just take a bulk tender as an example. Some of agencies, right, once they make one bulk tender purchase, they need to go through 3 different platform or websites to finish the whole process, which from us, right, we see is really a waste of time, because as some person as a first timer, right, they are really confused which website to go, where do I need to go first one, second one, and third one to finish one bulk tender purchase. The last one, lack of transparency, consolidation. This is what I mean just now, the private offerings. So some individual agencies, based on their needs, right, they need to negotiate directly with the vendors and then go through the private offers. However, there's no visibility at all the private offers as of now. And then this actually potential cause some of the agencies paying more to certain vendors. From the data we collected so far, right, actually a lot of agencies are purchasing the same software from the same vendor, but we have seen different kind of pricing variations. So for those paying high, maybe you want to know you are paying high for those vendors, and then you want to negotiate again next time. So I more or less touched about this one. What are the values we are trying to provide to our GCC customer, GCC marketplace users? First one, definitely complexity reduction. From the whole cumbersome procurement process, right, we're trying to see which step that by using the GCC marketplace, we can reduce or even remove. But this one, we are actively working with the procurement team on this one. Next one, digitalization, automation. This one is also, as mentioned just now, from end to end, the whole process, right? How we can really help to improve the whole process by digitalization to reduce the human errors along the way. The last one, transparent spending. The whole of government, we are always saying that we also want to open and then see the transparent, all those kind of pricing, right? We are trying to achieve that through the GCC marketplace. Okay, some features. Just quickly go through the features. The first one, curation of the offerings. We curate all kinds of offerings, just mentioned just now. I will show a little bit more later on the mockup. Next one, easy pricing comparison. You will see everything in one page once you search the vendor, so you can make easier decision to see, and then it will be easier for you to see which one have a lower pricing. Next one, end-to-end procurement process on one platform. This means that starting from the day you start to search until end the day, right? You maybe it will automatically tell you the contract is going to expire. Do you want to renew or do you want to end the contract? Seamless integration, same thing as mentioned just now with another one. You will have the same one single login with a TechPass account, and then you will see you will be integrated, and then you will know which CSP account is under your name. peak at the whole of government past private offerings. We are trying to gather all those data that we can and then to publish it. Contract end-to-end tracking mentioned just now, integrate CSP billing is the same thing. You will see from the same monthly CMP billing report for all those purchases. Last one, seamless resource provisioning. So once you select the CSP account, and then it really depends on the nature of the software that you purchase, and then you will have the chance to just, the resources will be provisioned directly. Okay, this is a very long flow. And then the first flow, user flow I want to share with you all, right, is regarding the bulk tender. I think if some of you, if you have purchased the bulk tender, you'll be very familiar with this one. But from different agencies to different agencies, right, you have some variations in the process. But something are given. You will browse and search first, and then you seek the budgetary quotation, and then AOR is a given. You definitely need to seek AOR approval. And then you maybe need to raise the purchase request or issue the RFQ. If you really issue RFQ, definitely you need to approval. If no, you issue PO. And then you end at the manual tracking of the contract expiration. And then you'll see there is no closed loop. And then it will just end here. And then depends on you to manual track. What have been envisioned for this one, and I'm actively working on the procurement on this one, on bulk tender purchase, is shorten the period. Actually, if you see the whole list that with all kinds of pricing, right, maybe you don't need to submit the RFQ, and then you can just really go more smooth. You just browse and search, raise the AOR, and then you request the offer on the GCC marketplace, you purchase with your CSP link account, and then we will do the tracking for you, and then you only receive the reminder if the contract is expiring, and then you will make the decision whether you want to renew or you want to end the contract. The next user flow is more complicated. I don't think I will go through the details with you. It's more for the private offer user flow. All these slides after that will be sent to all of you, and then you can take a closer look and see whether it matches with your agency's use cases. But this is a general use cases that we collect for the agencies for the private offer. You can see the on top right is existing whole of government private offer user flow. You have many decision points because you need to go multiple areas to see the data, to see the pricing. Sometimes you even need to reach the individual vendors to ask for their quotations. But from here, right, we are trying to remove that step to let you see everything. So you will have less decision point here. And then some of the process, because of all the digitalization, right, we hope we can remove those steps for you so that it can be easier and faster finish your purchase via the CSP with your CSP link account. And then again, we'll close the loop by send you the reminders at the end of the day. Okay, again, this is just a start. So again, later even we will have include a QR code for the survey that will hope that whoever has ever made any kind of purchase, even public marketplace purchase, bulk tender purchase or private offer purchase, please help us to fill out the survey so we can have more data and then trying to understand a little bit more about each individual agency use cases. So the MVP, by end of October, we expect to release the MVP, and I will select limited user for pilot production after that, and then we will release stage by stage. First, we will release the AWS related, the public marketplace offering, private offer history, and then also the bulk tender cloud eligible offerings, followed by Azure, and then we will try Azure and GCP, and then after that, the digital contract tracking management, and then also digital AOR editing, and then reminder, everything just now mentioned to close the loop, it will be coming after. Here's the mockup. So the homepage, you click the market offerings, and then you will see everything in one page. This is really trying to remove all your difficulties to go to different sources to get all the pricing. So you will have the bulk tender, you will have the public marketplace offer, you will have the CSP private offer. And then if you go to the CSP private offer, if there is history, if you click, you will see different histories that made by whole of government agencies. But we will definitely mark out your agency's name. You won't be able to see which agency actually negotiated with better pricing or worse pricing. We don't want to release that information. But you will definitely see the pricing and when it starts, because we know that all those software that pricing is increasing year by year. If it's made like quite some time ago, maybe it's not realistic for you to negotiate even lower price. Okay, here is the QR code. So whoever has made any purchase in the past, could you please help me to scan the QR code and then answer the question. We'll try to make the questions as easy as possible already. So it maybe take you about 2 minutes to finish it. While you are answering the survey, the rest maybe you can ask the questions. It's the Q&A time for both marketplace and then the cost optimization dashboard. Yes, the mic, thank you. Could you help me let me know which agency you're coming from?
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, I'm Mary from CPF Board. Just want to clarify for this GCC marketplace, it's only meant for procuring any of the services from the three CSPs or from their marketplace. Is that the correct scope?
Yes, for now. Just now, as you mentioned, right, we may be included in the future those GovTech development products, but it's in the very long term.
Okay.
And then even those vendors develop products, we haven't really discussed about that point yet, but we want to include the CSP's offerings first.
Okay. So it's not like the entire WOG, bulk tender and all that?
No, it's cloud eligible only.
Okay,
Yep.
thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for asking the first question. It's always very quiet and I wait for the people. Yes. What happened to the mic?
Hello, I'm Vinayak here. I'm from GovTech itself. So one slide I saw about the commitment flexibility. Yeah. So the agencies need not worried about the commitments 1 year or third year. So here my understanding is that the GCC centrally purchase the resources, how the cloud service providers are giving in terms of 1 year or 3 years. But as the agencies, we will not be seeing, we will be just, maybe they're fluctuating in terms of their commitments. They were 3 months or 6 months. It's still okay for them to release the resource without much worry. Is that how it is?
Yes, yes, your understanding is correct. GCC will commit to those resources first, but however, it's definitely not all kinds of resources. We need to select and pick those resources really commonly used by whole of government. Yeah, and then we will purchase centrally, and then if first come, first serve, and then you will see those resources available, and then it fits your use cases, and then you can come to GCC marketplace and purchase.
Okay. What if the resources are already there are no resources? I'm looking to commit some resources, but it's not available in the marketplace now. So in that case, I have to raise a request with.
No. You can still go to CSP directly for those not available resources.
Oh, we have to go to CSP directly.
Yeah. You just log in your CSP account and then.
But that don't serve the purpose, right? Suppose if there is no resource available and the agencies are demanding for resources which are, 1 year or 3 year commitments. So the GC Central shouldn't be purchasing more, like how the demand comes in.
But it's a difficult decision later on. If you only one agency requests certain resources for 3 or 6 months, right? As a central, we cannot commit 1 year or 3 years.
Understand.
Because then means centrally as a whole of our government, we are paying extra to those resources we're not using.
Understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but if more agency request the same resources, maybe it's a trend, the new EC2 family later on, and then maybe we will definitely study all the time, and then we see the trends coming up for those resources, we will start to commit. Yeah, if we have more confidence. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe allow me to just add in a little bit more, right? So adding a bit of color to what Emily and Xiang, oh hi, so to what Emily and Xiang has just shared, right? This whole aspiration that we have, that's why it is way down the road, right? In terms of our ability to GA this feature, probably one of the reasons is because you'll be away for 4 months for obvious reasons, right? Soon, right? So okay, jokes aside, I think we are kind of like running a business here. GCC becomes a product. It's really GCC as a product kind of thing. So when we pre-commit on behalf of the whole of government some of these resources, we will have to invest, right? And then we kind of like resell it back without earning any revenue kind of thing. So the conversation is really, I think, from where Emily is coming from. It's basically the resources available out there is really huge, different variation of different type of resources, VMs and whatever. And actually, there's a lot of PaaS services also you can do reserve instance and things like that. For example, those of you who are familiar, you're using AWS SageMaker, for example, you can just go and on demand, right? But actually, if you commit for a certain period, AWS will give you some discount. So the question is, how sharp can we, our financial marksmanship, right? To be able to commit on behalf of the whole of government, what type of resources, how long do we need to commit without running into a deficit like what Emily is. We've been talking a lot about how do we start off first, right? So as far as the aspiration goes, we want to start small first for maybe some of the most commonly used, whether your R series or M series or whatever kind of AWS EC2 resources, for example. And then we slowly grow from there. And I think there will be a lot more to and fro, I suppose. We get some feedback from the agencies as well. Yeah. Hope this clarify a little bit more about what we intend to achieve here. Yeah, thanks.
Hello, Hong Beng from EDB. Just wanted to ask a little bit about the EC2 optimization. For us, we actually run AWS Trusted Advisor to do our EC2 optimization, then to do the resizing. I'm just wondering, is the one that you're also using similar with backend engine, or is there differences, or in the secret sauce there I just use yours then rather than what we have?
So in terms of the source of the data that comes into the cost optimization, right, we rely on the same source. It comes from the CSP. For AWS, it comes from Compute Optimizer and also Trusted Advisor. Cost Explorer is for the usage data and all. Yeah. So the secret sauce here that for the dashboard, right, is more really on the benchmarking, perhaps I would say, so that you are able to compare with the others. Yeah. But in terms of the recommendations, it's all from the same native source.
I see.
Yeah.
Then just the next question, Xiang on the mic. For this one, is GCC on plus GCC plus, or will for the market one, or is just only GCC marketplace alone?
We will start with the GCC 2.0 first, and then the GCC plus we will see. We will go along the way and then see how is the response out there.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. For the Lam Soon from CPF board. So for the reservation instance portion where GCC marketplace, so currently we are already on RI. So question will be, will there be any possibility that existing RI users can port to GCC marketplace, or actually we need to wait for our existing RI to expire before we can onboard to GCC marketplace?
Yeah. For the current solution, you will need to wait for your RI to expire first. Yeah.
Because I think for those bigger players, likely they already have RI in place. So just a thought, because if you were to consolidate the RI together, actually you can form the base upfront. So there may be some initial sizing that could be a potential that you can that I thought could consider. I think that's my point. I think second question I have for Xiang is more on the benchmarking perspective. So I understand you mentioned you will do benchmarking across different services and different agencies. So just want to understand more about how will the benchmarking work? Because will we benchmark across per unit level? How much do we spend, or it's just service to service comparison, or similar workload type of comparison? How will the benchmarking be, and what will we be expected of?
Okay, so what we envision, because we haven't really developed it into the live system. So for benchmarking one, right, we thought about unit metrics, unit costs. So that one is a given. So unit cost can be measured for EBS, EC2, etc. So that one is, and then we will give you the comparison against the whole GCC average. data against your own one. And then we will also have one more line for you to compare against the recommended one. Because sometimes we observe that agencies might be doing better than the average GCC is doing. So we will also add on to maybe industry benchmark so that you know that actually there are still room for you to improve on. Yep, so there's one area. And the other one that we are still in discussion is that we wanted to calculate some kind of index. We call it cost optimization index lah. So with this index, right, you also will know that overall we take into account RISP utilization coverage and as well as the other right sizing matrices. And then we calculate out a number, and that number will be your cost optimization index. And we will compare it with the rest. Yep.
I see. Okay, Ken, thanks.
Okay, so also maybe we take one last question from the gentleman in the back so that we let Emily have a seat first. So no worries, you can still approach our speakers after that for questions. Thank you.
I'm Babu from LTA.
So sorry, from which agency?
LTA.
The mic is a little bit soft, I think. LTA. Yeah.
LTA.
Yep.
Okay. FinOps tool, it supports CC also or only meant for GCC?
Sorry, I can't hear.
FinOps tool, it meant for GCC only or CC also it will support?
Oh, okay. Okay, for now we design it for GCC use cases only.
Okay. And currently we are in process of evaluating the product, right? Do you want us to wait for some time or we can parallelly proceed or evaluating the products? FinOps tool. When you say evaluating, meaning? Yes, we've identified certain products and we are working with certain partners to finalize our approach to embark on a FinOps journey, right? For this one, I saw that by end of this year, AWS and first quarter of next year, Azure, right? It's firm, or do you want us to wait till March, or what is your recommendation?
For your workload is all on the OO or the CC?
CC, GCC, both.
Or GCC.
GCC plus CC also we are having.
So for GCC, you will be available to use the product when we GA it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you want us to wait or from that, okay, March 25 is, we can expect or March, April, or might be delayed further?
Okay, that's our target. We will work toward that for sure. We don't expect it to delay further if everything goes smoothly. So okay, so if let's take it, the timeline is February, right? So that time when we release to the whole of government, the workload that you have in GCC2 will already be able to onboard to this dashboard automatically from CMP. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think to paraphrase the question a little bit, if any of you guys are actually working on something pretty similar to what GovTech has, because we always share our roadmap, right? If you go to our doc portal, you will see our series of roadmap, like which quarter do we want to introduce which feature and things like that. So as shared before, I think even though Xiang said, okay, confident, yeah, we're going to launch, right? But some of these things are still aspirational, right? The details of which some of the, for example, the LTA, your FinOps tool, you have a paid tool, for example. Some of these tools are bundled part and parcel of the GCC today, and you know GCC, we no longer charge anything, right, these days. So feature release, it will be progressive, right? Iteratively, we will seek input, we will continue to improve along. So I'm not quite sure what LTA has in mind when you look at the FinOps tools. If you have some very specific requirements that perhaps doesn't match what we are delivering, then perhaps we should have another deep dive and have another chat lah. So we should chit chat a little bit more, right? To see whether what we are building makes sense and whether you want to kind of like pivot your intended investment for that particular FinOps tool to what we are building. That is possible as well. But very important to understand a little bit more on what you guys intend to achieve by getting your FinOps tools. So we should deep dive a little bit more on that. All right, thank you.
Just one last sentence, just for the point of contact while I'm away until end of year. That's Xiang. So you should remember Xiang's name today very clearly because please contact her for point of contact for both topics that we are presenting today. Yeah. If no, no.
Hi, I'm Melvin from HTX. I really like the idea of putting the private offer, if I read it correctly, as well as the bulk tender pricing side by side or something. Because you might find some interesting data points that actually how come the private offer turned out to be cheaper than the bulk tender price. Yeah, very interesting. Okay, then back to the cost optimization. It's very good because my counterpart Janet, she's not here today. She's on a roll about cost optimization. So this will really help the project team member as well as I hope the vendor can get access to it that we help each other to watch over the cost optimization. I got one question about how often does it refresh? Is it like once a day? And one of the things on my mind and also on my colleagues' mind is that we also want to catch those spikes, or those endless loop, or the data. Don't know what vendor go and put in the UAT environment and cause it to spike and all that. So is there also a way, okay, besides how often does it refresh, right, the report, right? Is there a way to make it very easy to put in the alert notifications when you spike beyond the normal pattern of live traffic? Yeah, just email, because others you go log in and always check the portal, you go and check the portal. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, in terms of the refresh, if I, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong. I remember that, okay, so in terms of data refreshing, right, is daily for the cost data, cost and usage. Yeah. Once a day. Daily, right? Okay. Once a day. Yep. One time a day. Yep. And then for the recommendation part, right, is a monthly. Yep.
Sorry, I try not to speak, but I'm just like, this is a topic close to my heart, by the way. This is something that we want to achieve, right? Actually, the once a day is correct, but you all know that we can do it real time also, but the cost is just going to balloon. You know, the data ingestion, the pipeline and everything. So it's a question of how do we manage and how do we control that. So for a start, some of our engineers, when we were discussing about this, we try not to be too gung-ho, go and do it like, shorter interval and things like that, because the cost will jack up and you will go and defeat the purpose of building a cost optimization dashboard when our own cost is going to spike up by building a dashboard of such. But for now, yeah, one day.
But we can always discuss, like from the feedback of users, etc. We will collect feedbacks and evaluate accordingly, yeah. Yes, can share. Okay. Yes, it's actually a tool that is available. We are currently using QuickSight. Yes. Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Hello. Yes. Thank you so much for both of the speakers for sharing so much. Thank you, the audience, as well, for so many questions. Thank you, Boss Bingwan, also for helping. So if you guys would like, you can catch our speakers later after the session to discuss more about any questions you might have. So now we will actually go into the panel discussion. So while our crew is setting up, we just want to let you know that if you have any more information, if you have any more questions or you would like to read a little bit more about GCC, you can just go to the developer portal, which is on screen here, and you can discover more about this platform at the short link. So no worries, because this front part of the session will be recorded and placed on the dev portal as well. You can have a look when this recording is published. Then, and also a bit of introduction, maybe a bit belated, but about us, we are actually running the Stack community, which is the tech community by GovTech. So we do a lot of deep dive sessions like this evening's one. And one thing that we are really excited about this year is the largest conference we usually run, which is going to be held in November. So at the moment, tickets are 50% off, so please grab your early bird tickets. And it's only until 20th September. So once again, please grab the tickets. Thank you. For now, we would like to wrap up the session. And you can see 2 QR codes here on screen. So the one that is on the right-hand side, yep. So we would like to get some of your feedback of this session on how we can improve such things further for you. So for some of you folks who didn't manage to get our early bird swag packs, we are also giving out some swag for people who complete the feedback. And like what we mentioned just now, if you would like to join more of such sessions, you can scan the QR code to join the Stack community on our meetup.com. So really hoping to see you soon for our other sessions and of course at November's Stack conference. So thank you everyone. Have a good evening.